really plugging this thing like it's real.
Yeah, is that working now?
I don't know,
Hopefully.
is this better?
We'll
Hopefully.
see. I guess like I clicked the wrong button at some point, possibly. I'm
I'm
going to double
sure.
check a few things. Sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. And I'm sure
I'll,
the chat will let us know if there are
yeah,
any problems
they're
with
like,
the
no
audio.
sound, no sound. I can't hear you.
Sounds like a problem.
We're
Is this better now? Okay, this
we're
better?
good.
Good. Yeah, so the second annual English Teachers Conference, Niagara Falls, next July 10th through the 13th.
Sometime in there.
Trying to nail down the dates, but
Yeah, sorry. We're you know how Bob is when there's a little technical difficulty, his brain doesn't work for a little bit. That's what I was doing there, but I think it's working now. I'm just gonna wait. Oh, it says okay, everything is good.
Oh.
Mahmood says, yes, it is working. Sound okay now from Lolly Lolly.
Perfect.
So why don't I start by saying hi to people? Hi, John Wedge, Daquan, John Wedge again, Vitor, Wilma, Dave. Thanks, Dave, for coming on a Monday. Mode Eggs is here. John Wedge. Again, I've said hi to him 3 times. John from Brazil, Yasmin, Hafiez, Stacy, Know That, Dimitri, Hassan, Mahmoud, Siong, and I think Kokoyi, Jisu, and Heidi. I think we got everyone. Mode says Bob the Canadian always clicks the wrong buttons, but somehow everything ends up working perfectly. Yeah,
it is crazy.
I actually don't know what happened. I had the microphone named as Brent's mic, and now it's named Mike too. So oh well. Anyways, Brent, what should we do? What should we do in this live stream? Answer questions?
I think so, and I think we live streamed last night for about an hour and a half. We got a lot of questions, and we answered every single one of them correctly.
We did.
So,
and I'm just realizing I didn't put the link to the question form in here. Brent and I, for some reason, we just were talking, and then I made Brent take another picture for the thumbnail, and I forgot to put that in, but it is in now. So there is a link in the description below if you want to ask a question, and I will find the first question, I think.
Perfect.
Let's see here. Previous.
While you're finding that question, maybe I'll discuss. There's Canadian geese that are going to be flying over here in a minute,
There are. I can hear them.
but the mic might not pick that up. But we're batting 1,000. That's another way you can say you've been perfect at what you've been doing. So hopefully, when you take your next English test, you'll be batting 1,000. If you are, that means you've gotten everything correct.
So I made a big error, I think. What I did is
Impossible.
No, this is a big error.
Uh-oh.
I'm using the same form that I used yesterday, which means that people can't ask a question because they've already asked a question. So they're stuck now not being able to answer a question. So I'm going to fix that.
Okay.
I'm not sure how long this will take me, but I'm
Okay.
going to fix it really quick. Dave, be prepared. Incoming new link in a moment. Brett's going to, what do they call this on radio?
I think we're going to fill the air.
You're
Yeah.
going to fill.
We don't want
little
any
bit.
dead air.
No.
If there's something you're listening to on the radio or watching on the television, if nothing happens for a period of time, it's just dead air.
Yeah, not good.
And we know one thing, teaching English on here, if we're not doing anything, people are going to start leaving the chat.
Yeah,
so,
people go find something more fun to do then.
Yeah, so I'm going to just spitball it here.
Yeah,
I guess
sounds good.
Kind of go off the cuff. Those are 2 terms you can use when you don't really have a plan. You're just trying to figure something out. What's that one about the airplane? Is it building it while it's in the sky? Something like that, fixing it while it's in the sky. But I can talk a little bit about my time here in Canada and some of the things that I've noticed that are different. Potato chips.
Yes.
There is a wide variety of potato chips, and before I leave Canada today, maybe tomorrow, I'm going to pick up some of those crazy flavors they have. Canadians, I don't want to stereotype too much. When you stereotype, that means you say like all of something, and that's not true. But all Canadians do not like ketchup chips, but
That's
it
true.
seems like they do. Because almost every chip here is flavored with ketchup.
Yeah, I'll eat them in a pinch. Like if there's no other chip, then I will eat one of those for sure. I got to change one more thing here, and I
Okay.
think we might be ready. You might have to refresh your screen in order to get the right link in the description. And let me get to here, and then we'll see if questions start coming in.
And I grabbed some chicken flavored chips last night, and they tasted a little bit like chicken, which is kind of weird. You know Doritos? Do you have Doritos where you live? They have potato chips here in Canada flavored with Doritos, which kind of boggles my mind.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say like you're confused.
Because it's already a chip, but then we made another chip to taste like the other chip. Yes.
So I'm wondering, why don't you just eat the Doritos? But there is a different texture.
There is a difference, a little bit of a difference to them. Okay, so I have one last thing to do, I think. And then we already have a question from Andre Padron that looks like it's coming in. Hopefully we see that in just a minute.
Perfect.
If I can get this working. This is the most technical difficulties I've ever had, I think.
Well, luckily you have a co-host to fill that dead air.
Yeah. Oh, I think
I'm not filling the dead air right now, though.
That's okay. We have a question on the screen. Woohoo!
Success.
So we're 5 minutes into the lesson, and we have a question on the screen. I believe the link is working. If you have a link that has a whole bunch of the letter L and then an N8 at the end, Dave's just posted it in the chat. We're good to go. I didn't pre-read this question, though. I just threw it on the screen.
I love that.
So
it could be a troll.
Living dangerously. Andre Pedro, hello, Mr. Bob and Mr. Brent. I'm so excited to see you together. Please use I have got and I got.
I got the measles last year.
Yeah. I got a lot of gifts from Brent and his wife yesterday.
Nice, yeah. So got is the past tense of get. Get is one of the most confusing words in the English language. We don't often use I have gotten.
No, we wouldn't. But I would say the have got I use when I would say I have got to go. Right? Like if I'm like, look, Brent, enough talking. I've got to go. I do use a contraction a bit there, right? I've got to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I would use that one. And the I got is just a utility phrase, right? Like I got a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money, but that was an example.
But I'm really excited for your English lesson on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that.
I don't know if I want to talk too much. So I decided I wanted to do an English lesson about how to talk about rich people, wealthy people. So I did a lesson where I went and found as many places as I could where I could stand in front of the things wealthy people own. Not the things Bob and Brent own.
You had to go off the farm for that lesson.
So I showed Brent some footage yesterday. He thought it was great. So look for that. It's coming out hopefully 3 a.m. Yeah, tomorrow morning, my time. So we'll see. Let me get the next question.
It's like a good one.
Hopefully, we'll see. Questions are flooding in now, so
Perfect.
awesome.
Perfect. We will answer all of them perfectly.
We will. Hafiez, during part 1, Canadian goose was mentioned. On Brent's side, which animal represents Maine? And if they were to fight, which will reign supreme? Haha, another fighting word. So are geese against your...
Moose, I think. Oh, whoa. Wow. I don't know. Hang on.
That's maybe not a fair fight.
No, it's not. But we also are known for lobster.
Oh, yes.
That fight might be a little bit more fair.
I think so. Geese are quite aggressive, though. Like, they will chase you. They will try to nip at you. And I guess lobsters would try to get you with their claws.
They're very slow, though.
That's true.
I used to work in a seafood place where I sold live lobsters. And they usually put rubber bands on their claws.
Oh, yes. Yep.
But they're not, it's the crabs that you have to worry about. If they're in a tank and you're trying to grab the crabs.
They're a little more dangerous.
Yeah. The lobsters are pretty chill. They're also called the cockroaches of the sea.
Oh.
Because they're bottom feeders.
Right.
They feed off the bottom of the ocean and they don't care what they eat.
Right. And then it becomes a delicacy for people. From Leah, what is the meaning of the phrase, the real deal? Yeah, that's a good one.
It is.
I might have to look that one up.
Oh, no.
I kind of have a definition in my head, but
I think the real deal is always positive.
Right.
And you're just trying to give a little bit more credit to something or somebody.
Right.
So those chicken chips that I ate last night, they were okay. I wouldn't call them the real deal.
Yes.
Like I might call the, what's your favorite potato chip?
I like sour cream and onion. Very Canadian flavor. I don't think you have them in the States.
Sour cream? Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like the fourth or fifth favorite flavor. But yeah, so for Bob the Canadian, sour cream and onion chips. Did you say that? Not
Yeah.
salt and vinegar.
No, salt and vinegar, not really. That's a pretty popular chip though in Canada, salt and vinegar. I would say the real deal is used too when you're talking about, like, let's say there's a younger athlete who's maybe going to play in the NHL or the NBA or the NFL. What did I miss?
MLB,
MLB, Major League Baseball. Someone might say, have you seen this new rookie? He's the real deal. Or it's World Cup, Women's World Cup right now. Someone might say, oh, have you seen this player from this country? She's the real deal. It just means that they're probably going to be extremely famous, good athletes, that they have the skills to do that.
Should we start a little controversy here?
Yeah, let's
because the Women's World Cup, I would argue that the Canadian women and the U.S. women are the two best teams in the world.
So, unfortunately, Bob hasn't been following it, so he doesn't know how to comment on it. It hasn't been in my news feed either. So, sorry, Brent, I have no comment.
Okay, I think the last maybe 4 World Cups have either been won by the Canadian women or the U.S. women.
But on principle, I would say I like the Canadian team a lot. They're my favorite. Riza, hello, Brent and Bob. Nice seeing you guys together. Well, my question is from Brent. What is a known stereotype in the U.S.? So a question for Brent. A known stereotype.
Okay, so is this a known stereotype for Americans?
Yeah,
I'm going to assume that is. I'll say that I think, and it's hard because I'm an American, so I think we are probably known, I hope, for being very friendly, but also being kind of loud. So that's what I think, and overweight. I think so. Loud and overweight, I think, would be some of the stereotypes that people around the world think of us Americans. But I'm sure people in the chat would know better.
They might know better.
Yeah.
I will not comment on the overweight part, but what I will comment on is from my experience when I lived in Quebec City. In the winter, the Americans would come to Quebec City to ski.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, for that as well, but mostly to ski. And the Americans were known for just being extremely colorful. In the winter, most Canadians just wear black winter coats, and the Americans would come with these very, very colorful outfits, and they were tall and they were a bit loud, I would say too. They were on vacation though. What do you expect?
Did you immediately know from a distance?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an American.
Yeah, you could tell who. I started to blend in after a while. I started to look around and think, okay, I'm going to dress more like how people dress in Quebec.
And I will say, while Bob is finding the next question, a stereotype of Canadians is that they are very polite.
Yeah, we try to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of fake though. No, sorry, it's real. But I've said this before in a live stream. We're polite until we play hockey with you, and then it's there's no more rules.
Yeah.
Evgenia, hi teachers. Is there a difference between a jail and a prison? Thank you in advance. So for me, there's not.
Okay. I may know a bit more about the prison system than you do.
For me, it's the same word. Like he went to jail or he went to prison.
And I think a lot of people do use those terms interchangeably, but a jail is usually for a shorter period of time. There isn't so much security. It may be for people who are waiting to go on trial. Prison is the real deal.
Okay. Yeah.
So you are there for a long, thank you, for a long time. So if I hear jail, like if one of my friends went to jail, which happens every so often. No, not really.
But I have bailed a friend out of jail once,
way.
many years ago. It was for a minor infraction. But that's the kind of guy call me at midnight. I'll come and bail you out.
It's good to know. So you can bail people out of jail. That means you pay some money to get them out of jail. Prison doesn't work that way. They're probably going to stay there for a while.
Yes. So I'll tell a little more about the story.
I'm dying to hear.
So when you're in university, some people have a tendency to have parties. So if you want to know what kind of student Bob was in university, I was the kind of student / friend who didn't really go to the parties, at least not very often, but did get out of bed at 1 a.m. to go bail his friend out, who maybe was, I'm not mentioning names, so I can say maybe drinking a little too much, and the police officers did not appreciate that. So it was a minor infraction. Everyone should have a friend like me.
Absolutely.
The guy who goes to bed on time and gets up at 1 a.m. and comes and bails you out of jail.
So my wife, Jamie, I think is most likely to bail me out of jail if I need to. But if she doesn't pick up the phone, I'm actually going to call you if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, next question from Emmanuel. How long do you know each other? I love the way you both teach. I don't have an exact date, but it was during the pandemic, spring of 2020, right? Is that when I first saw you in the chat?
I believe so, yeah. Spring of 2020.
So that takes us to 21, 22. So a little over 3 years. In person, we've known each other since yesterday, but online since spring of 2020.
Right.
That was a okay spring if you like doing online stuff, but real life stuff,
not
there
so
just
much.
wasn't anything going on.
And how about the way that question is asked? We might just change that to how long have you known each other?
Yes.
So it's a little bit more advanced. I don't know the tense that I'm using there.
Right.
Past perfects, maybe something, but how long have you known each other?
Yeah. Freddie Wolf, super chat, says, "Hi Bob, hi Brent. For any health reason, I'm really sorry that I won't be able to participate in your 2 lessons again, and I apologize for that." No problem. It's nice that you popped in. Thank you for the super chat. I hope that you're feeling better. That's I hope that it's not something serious.
Yeah, get well soon.
Get well soon.
And let's face it, within the last 2 days, we will have, by this afternoon, we will have streamed for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And watching 3 hours of
That's
anyone.
a lot. That's a lot of Bob and Brent.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So
we're okay in small quantities, but this is a lot all at once. We know, but we're still going to do it.
Yeah, sure. It's fun.
Dimitri from Ukraine. Hello, honorable gentlemen. Thank you. Very nice. Great to be live with you. I wonder if this collab stream will be like some kind of annual thing. This rubric will be super popular. Have a good one. We'll see. I did mention to Jen that I would drive to Maine to see Brent next summer. As we are both teachers, we have the summer off. I've noticed from talking to Brent, though, having the summer off for both of us just means we do more YouTube stuff. So we do keep working. But yeah, if it works out, I don't know what my summer will look like, but I would drive down to Maine or maybe even fly. I don't know, 9 hours. That's a bit of a hike.
Right.
Do you say that in America?
Yeah.
A bit of a hike?
Yeah, a bit of a hike means a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will tell you from experience, the drive from here to my house is very boring.
Yeah, I haven't driven it. I think I drove it sort of once, but it's not the most exciting part of the U.S. to see, I don't think.
But a year is a long time. I may do something that would upset Bob and ruin our friendships. That's a long time. So stay tuned.
We might have a falling out.
We might.
We might. There might be something where we just don't agree. Then who knows what will happen. I won't invite Brent to the convention next year. Mode, good morning, gentlemen. Great to see you again. I'm going to keep it simple. What do you like the most about each other's way of teaching? Go ahead and butter up each other.
Oh,
I can start.
an easy one. Yeah,
Have
sure,
I been
go for
starting?
it.
I'm trying to share, but
No. Yeah.
So here's what I like. I like that Brent goes places. So his videos aren't just English lessons. They're kind of like English lesson / vlog. So they're a bit of both. And I don't really know the area where he lives. So the only way for me to see it is when he goes to a store or when he goes to Scary House or whatever that last one was.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I think that the like my Friday lessons where I sit in my room are very efficient, but there's nothing like going places. It's just cool for learning something and seeing stuff.
So, and the thing that I like about Bob's teaching most is that he is very organized. He is very clear. Sometimes I know when I'm teaching, I get excited. I might speak too quickly, but I think Bob always holds it steady. And you're always great with the scheduling.
Oh.
You know when your videos are going to come out. So I like how Bob is organized.
Yeah, well, thank you. Although I did like pull a fast one on you where I was like, let's do a new thumbnail. We got 7 or 12 minutes. Let's do a new thumbnail. I think I could edit one in that time. So,
It
but
worked, though.
5 minutes before that, I was like kind of cranky because I couldn't get the audio working. So, yeah, anyways.
So another thing I like Bob is his attention to detail. That might be a new term, but if somebody is super focused on their job or they want everything to be done exactly correctly, you might say that they pay attention to detail.
Yeah, that's true, but it can drive people crazy.
Yeah.
Like I can't handle that the mic's not exactly in the middle of the screen right now.
Yeah.
But it's exactly between us. So I just have to accept it. So
maybe within the next year, we might have some beef because you are such a perfectionist.
right, I'll be like, Brent never puts his mic in the center. I can't work with it.
Unsubscribe. Block.
Unsul from Istanbul. Hi guys, is it fun to spend time with Bob? Have you been inspired by him in any way during this time, and vice versa? Have a great time.
Oh, absolutely. I think anybody who has ever tuned into a live stream of mine will notice something very familiar. It's almost exactly what Bob the Canadian does. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of inspiration from Bob the Canadian over the last 3 years. A lot of ideas. Yeah, so that's an easy one for me.
And then the vice versa, I'll just
That
say,
might be a harder.
well,
harder
no,
question.
because I'll just talk about yesterday.
Mm.
Brent and I both mentioned or reflected on that. We don't get to talk about this YouTube thing we do with other people very often, or at least not with other people that do it who understand it. So yesterday was a lot of fun. We actually talked too much. We almost lost our voices, but I was finally able to talk to someone who actually does the same thing as me. I don't know any other YouTubers, especially English teaching YouTubers, who I've met in person where we could just talk shop, where we could just talk about what we do. So that was fun. That was really fun yesterday.
And there is a big difference because we've talked through Zoom before.
Yeah.
But there's a little, it hits a little differently.
Yeah.
To use some slang, it's just a little bit better if you're in the same room with a person.
Definitely. Yeah. Because you can. So in English we have the phrase to bounce ideas off each other, and it means when you're talking about one thing, it's like, well, we could try this. Well, how about this? Well, I've done it this way. Oh, that's cool. And so on Zoom, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's just hard to have those quick conversations with lots of ideas. Omran or Omran?
I say Omron, but
Omran.
I could be wrong.
When will you do the zipline video? It must be a lot of fun. Be careful, teachers. So we've had a few ideas. We've bounced a few ideas around. Probably not for a week. Probably like Brent needs to get home. He needs to edit his version. I need to edit my version. So I'm not going to promise anything, but it will come out sometime in the next 2 weeks. That's fair, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can release it by Saturday, I will do that, as long as Bob has a couple things that he wants to do prior to that. So we'll see. But
yeah,
the sooner the better.
Because we want to release them at exactly the same time. So that you can view both, like there's slightly different points of views, because we had 2 and sometimes 3 cameras running. And we also were able to get pictures and video from the event people. Like we bought the little tourist package of the video and some photos. So we both want to kind of put together a video, and you'll get kind of a little view from both, and then release it at the same time. Alexi, where do you live in the USA? State, city, town, county. That you can be as precise as you want. Yeah, you go for it.
So I live in the state of Maine. I live kind of in southern Maine. So yeah, about it. But Maine. So if you've seen any of my videos, I visit places around my house within reason. And sometimes I travel a little bit, but yeah, definitely that's what this hat is. This is the Maine state flag.
Maine state flag.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mahmood, hello, teacher Brent and Bob. I hope you're both doing well. I am. Brent is as well. I was wondering, would you consider Brent to be your best friend? Thank you so much. So I'm not going to offend Brent here, but I will say this. There's a number of different ways to talk about friends. I would say that I consider Brent a good friend at this point. In order for Brent to be my best friend, he would probably need to live closer to me. I do have a best friend. He was my best man at my wedding. So we say in English, he stood up for me. Do you say that? He stood up for you at your wedding? Maybe you don't.
We might not.
Okay.
Yeah, we would use that within like a fight.
Yeah.
Like
right. So my best friend, I've known since kindergarten, since I was 5 years old. Even though Brent could become a good friend or even a better friend, it would be really hard for him to replace that guy. So that would be my answer there.
That hurts a little bit, but I don't have too many friends. So I think as of right now,
I'm the guy.
You're my best. My
Okay.
best friend.
Best friend in Canada.
The person, no, in the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nancy from Costa Rica. Hi, Brent and Bob. What's the difference between fall off, fall over, and fall down? Can you give examples?
Wow. A lot of English phrasal verbs there. Would you like me to take fall off
Yeah,
first?
try you do fall off.
Okay. So fall.
Then I'll act out fall over.
Oh, you will?
I don't know. We'll
Let's
see.
get another camera
We'll
rolling
see.
here. I usually think of fall off when something isn't doing as well as it did in the past. So let's talk YouTube right now. So if I had, let's say, 1,000 views per video, but then suddenly it dipped, it's another word there, dipped to 500, I would think that my channel is sort of falling off. It's not as popular as it once was. It's my first thought for falling off.
Sure. The simpler version of fall off is just those leaves will fall off later this year. But I think Brent has actually given a good definition. I'm trying to think. There's probably a number of meanings of fall off. That the most common would be the leaves fall off. What Brent mentioned is also super common. Something can fall off. Their performance can fall off over time. Fall over and fall down. I've been trying to think of the difference between the two, but to me, like fall over would be someone standing and they kind of like they topple like that. Fall down could be like they go in any direction, like they stumble and they fall down. But to me, fall over is always like if a bottle is on the table, it can fall over, okay? Whereas a person can like fall down the stairs, a person can just stand up and just like go straight down and fall down. So
yeah, I think direction has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Fall over, fall down.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, actually.
Yes.
One of the few things in English that makes sense.
Let's see here. Next question. Xiang.
So many.
How can I improve pronunciation skills? It's not easy to change my pronunciation because my tongue seems to be hard to adopt the native's way of speaking, or it seems to be hard to adopt the native's way of speaking. Or talking, sorry, I'm reading the wrong word here. Both are correct, talking or speaking.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
When it comes to English speaking, that's the hardest part to master because often you need other people involved. In French, do you ever talk to yourself in front of a mirror?
Yeah, so that does help. I always recommend that you narrate your life. So it's like, I'm sitting here doing a live stream. I'm talking to Brent. I'm going to check my phone. So you say what you're doing out loud quietly, whereas people don't think you're crazy. But I also think there's some value in, like, neither Brent or I do lessons like this, but there are English YouTubers, English YouTube teachers who will tell you where to put your tongue, how to form your lips to say certain words, and they will give you practice techniques to do. You've not done lessons. I've not done lessons like that.
No, I don't feel like I'm qualified to do that.
And you almost need to be like a speech pathologist or not a linguist, but you need to be someone trained to train other people. And you could probably find it by looking for videos on accent reduction or something like that. That would be my recommendation. But certainly more speaking, and at least some speaking where you're getting correction would be very helpful.
But you're using different muscles, most likely speaking English, certainly a language like Vietnamese or, so it's a lot different how you place your tongue with the teeth, inside the teeth.
There's some Jamie Watson saying hi to people. You've heard of her?
Yes, I have. My wife.
You both from Know That. Hello, Bob and Brent. Thank you for all the great content you do for us. Question: did you experience a funny situation during your trip to Canada? Brent, thanks in advance. Anything funny happen on the way?
No. You had some things that were not funny. That were not funny. I guess the coolest thing I saw yesterday, I didn't tell you, but I think it was a tortoise that was crossing the road, maybe 2 or 3 miles from your house. Is that
a big one?
Yes.
Yeah. We found one a few weeks ago and we brought it back to the creek. Then we learned later. Oh, did I just admit that on YouTube? That's not legal in Canada.
Oh, really?
You're not supposed to move them. But we just moved them a little ways and we put them back in a safe place. So I think that should be okay.
Absolutely. I think you might have saved that turtle's life or the tortoise's life.
I don't think anyone from the Ministry of Natural Resources is watching my English lesson. So
I hope not. So what would you rather, break the law and move the turtle or have it get hit by a car?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think you're a hero.
Yeah, I think so. In the turtle world, there's a lot of turtles.
Sometimes heroes have to break laws.
Okay, a guy. Do you guys have any advice for someone who is going through a hard situation? Thanks.
Wow. That is deep.
Yes, that's deep.
That's not really within the realm of English teaching, is it?
No, I would say that we're qualified to do certain things in life. Brent and I are obviously qualified to teach. We both have teaching degrees, but we are not qualified to help people who are having trouble. We're qualified to listen to friends or family who are going through a hard time because the nature of our relationship. But actually, as teachers, you might find this interesting. We are not supposed to give students advice if they're going through a hard time in life beyond just listening a bit and then guiding them possibly to a counselor or someone who's a professional who knows how to take care of someone. So if a student comes to me and starts to tell me about a very difficult situation they're going through, something very traumatic, I will listen because they've come to me first for a bit. And then I will say, you know what would be a really good idea? Let's set up an appointment with our in-school counselor and they will help you work your way through this. So that is it the same? I imagine it's the same in your system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do you have this term mandatory reporter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are, as teachers, we are mandatory reporters. So if one of our students tell us they want to hurt themselves, by law, we need to tell someone who is trained to help them. We are not supposed to help them.
No.
We might mess them up even worse.
Right.
But yeah.
So that's exactly. So that would be my answer. But the advice I can give is hopefully there's someone in your life who you trust, a good friend or family member that you can share what you're going through. Miroslav, Mickey, it is Mickey from the US. Hi, Mickey. I hope driving that bus is still going good. Which is older, Tim Hortons or Starbucks? Let's see who better knows funny facts about their country.
Oh, I know. I think I know.
I have an answer, but
okay. But I think
I'm avoiding
Mickey,
the question.
Mickey DM'd me. I think yesterday we had a nice little chat.
Nice.
He is not from Croatia. I think he put a little flag, and I thought it was Croatia. It's actually Serbia.
Yeah, there you go.
So they're not that far apart.
Yes.
The flags look similar, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Kosovo and
yes.
a fun topic for anyone.
Yep. I don't have I'm doing the avoid the question, give my own answer.
Okay.
All I know is Tim Hortons has been in Canada for a long time. And a little while ago, 10 or 15 years ago, this upstart American company called Starbucks started building coffee shops in Canada. And then to my dismay, Canadians loved it. So in Canada, I think Tim Hortons has been here longer than Starbucks. So I don't know what the actual answer is.
I think you're right. For some reason, I think Starbucks may have started in the 70s. And I believe Tim Hortons is older than that, right?
I don't know. It started with a hockey player named Tim Horton. So
how about this? Me personally, I love Tim Hortons. Not even close to Starbucks. So
it's yummy.
It's the best.
And it's reasonably priced.
Yes.
So. Samula. Hello, Mr. Bob. I hope you are doing well. Mr. Bob, how can I improve my vocabulary?
Good question. She didn't say Mr. Brent. She said Mr. Bob.
Oh, she did say Mr. Bob. I was politely letting you answer this one.
I don't think she wants to know my answer.
My biggest recommendation, and I think it's because I am a reader, is that a great way to learn vocabulary is to read. As you read, you can read slowly at your own pace, and you can, from time to time, look up words, maybe keep a list or make flashcards. I think sometimes watching a TV show is an okay way because you're seeing what they're talking about sometimes. But reading, I think, is still one of the best ways. And also, you can simply be intentional about learning vocabulary. You can decide, I'm going to learn all the words I need to know to drive a car. I'm going to learn steering wheel and gas pedal and gear shifter or gear selector. What do you call it? Gear shifter?
That's a good question. And I do, with this rental car, I do want to do a video about car parts.
Yeah.
Maybe gear shift.
Yeah. So anyways, you can be intentional. Like if you want to buy a new phone, you can learn a whole bunch of vocabulary about phones, right? So that's what I would say.
Yeah. Gear shift. I think we do that.
Shireen. Hello guys. It is really nice to have a different English lesson like this. Is there any pronunciation difference between luck and lock? Yes. Definitely is. Luck, lock, luck, lock. I guess it does sound somewhat similar. Years ago, we didn't used to lock our van at night. But then one morning, the door of the van was open and the glove box was open and a few things were missing. So now we lock our van at night. We had some bad luck.
Oh, I didn't think
Did I use
Canadians.
both?
I think you
both.
did. I didn't think Canadians stole things. They were too polite to steal things.
Well, remember what I said yesterday about bad things in Canada? Who do we blame usually?
Oh, it was probably an American who crossed the border.
Yeah, I told
That-
Brent. Brent was like, the water looks a little scummy. When we were at Niagara Falls, there's a lot of foam and weird stuff on the water. And I said, well, normally when something in Niagara Falls doesn't look good, we blame the Americans. We're like, that's probably from the American side. So possibly, who knows? No, there's I won't mention it. I'll tell Brent later about a little more of the story. But
their prison up
and
the
luck.
street.
No,
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 a jail.
no,
No.
no, neither of those. Okay, here we go. What are we at? 10:35. By the way, I'm not planning to do members only chat during these live streams, if that's okay with you guys. We're going to go for another 10 minutes and then Brent's going to start over on his channel. I would suggest to my members, if you want to ask a question in the chat, Brent runs things a little differently. You'll be able to do that there, I think.
He's being very nice, but I have fewer people in my chat, so we'll be able to see more of your questions.
That is true. Volodymyr. Salam. I am happy to see you again. Have you, both of you, ever met Ukrainian people? If yes, what is your opinion about them?
Maybe we actually, in the short time we've been together, we have actually,
We met too.
yeah. So, and they might make an appearance in the video coming up about zip lining. So.
They were very nice. They
Very
were
nice.
tourists. They were having a look at Niagara Falls. I don't want to say too much for privacy reasons, but I have, at our school, we have international students sometimes. So I have taught students from a variety of countries, including that one. So yes, very nice. Very nice people.
They, I don't know. They might, we were there very early, and it seems like they were maybe drinking a little bit early too. So
Who knows?
Sounds like Ukrainians like to have
Who
fun.
knows? Yeah, could be. Yeah, maybe there's a time difference though. Maybe they were
maybe.
still on Ukrainian time.
Could be.
Wan Sheng says, "My English listening is poor. How to improve it?"
I think the only way to do that is to do more listening. The more you do, the better you get. That's almost anything in life.
Yeah,
If you want to get bigger muscles, you need to go to the gym.
yeah,
You want to practice better speaking, you have to speak.
yeah. Like if you think about how many free throw shots an NBA player has taken in practice versus in a game, like the practice is super important. And I think that I like the technical approach to listening, like slow things down, speed. If you can understand something, speed it up. Like use the controls of whatever you're playing audio on to speed up and slow it down. I'm a fan of subtitles as long as you do wean yourself off after a while. In English, when you wean yourself off of something, you do less of it over time until you don't do it anymore. And I obviously, in all my descriptions, I'm always like, watch this video 2 or 3 times, watch it once with subtitles on, once with them off. That can be a good way, I think, as well. And there's other stuff you can do.
I think of subtitles like training wheels on a bicycle. They're there to help you when you're new at it, but you take those training wheels off the bike when you're really an expert at riding that bike. So
Hey, Mickey gave us a super chat, or a super sticker actually. Sorry if I miss these. I don't sometimes see them, but I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. That is awesome of you. I like it's a very excited green person with stars around the head. Very cool,
Wow,
Mickey.
that's
Thank you
awesome.
very much for that. Hopefully I didn't miss any other ones.
I think there were a few back there. That you
Yeah,
might
and
have missed,
I
but-
can't scroll up anymore
yeah.
to see them. So, sorry, people. Henry from Taiwan. Hi, Teacher Bob and Brent. To be blunt, someone's gonna tell it like it is. How would we describe this? Be straight with us.
Yeah,
Here we go.
absolutely.
Your in-person chat as Duet offers more native English message my brain has to process compared to those clips you teach solo. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's always the case when you have two. I know when my wife hops on live streams with me, we do have a slightly more casual conversation, which I think is really helpful for people trying to improve their English.
Yeah. And we're trying to respect each other's time to speak, but at the same time, we slip into what we call banter every once in a while, where we're actually talking to each other a bit as we're answering the question. And that banter can be hard to follow because I think you hear me now, I'm speaking in a way so people can understand better. But if I joke with Brent or Brent makes a side comment, we kind of slip back into a faster form of speaking, which honestly isn't that different. I always say I speak about 90% of my normal speed in a lesson.
yeah?
I think you do too. I can hear your cadence and tone change slightly, but it's still very much you, and it's still fast. Like we're not talking like this or anything. So
Yeah.
yes, Henry, that would make sense. It's a little harder to understand. Dimitri, hello, Mr. Bob and Mr. Brent. Today I have a question. What is the difference between smart and clever?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, how would I use those differently? I'm trying to think here.
I think when I hear of clever, people do things in a different way for a
Yeah.
really good result.
Yeah.
And of course, I think most people know smart. Intelligent would be a synonym.
Yeah, smart,
Oh.
it's almost more like a general term, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a very intelligent person, you're smart. Oh, he's a smart guy. Oh, she's a really smart girl. Whereas clever, it's like the person's figuring things out, right? Like, oh, he's really good at puzzles. He's really clever. Or the thief was really clever and figured out a way to open the door, right? Like it's smart, but it's kind of a specific kind of smart. Oh, we don't have a camera to watch the tractor go by. Sorry, people. Brent and I are just watching the tractor go by.
It's a good sight.
I could have actually hooked the other camera up now that we don't have the other mic hooked up. Okay, this is a good question. Happy says, hello teacher. What is the place you two would like to go the most when you feel exhausted? Thank you. Where did you want to go when we were all done live streaming yesterday? We were exhausted when we were done yesterday.
I love my bed.
Yeah,
I love my bed.
Yeah,
That's probably where.
yeah. Home always feels nice, right? I felt bad because you went back to a hotel.
Oh,
But I'm just home, so
yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough to live fairly close to the ocean,
Right.
the beach.
Oh yeah.
I love going there. Jamie and I will go. We need to do that this summer again. But yeah, the beach is relaxing.
Yeah, the
Hearing
sound of
wave-
water.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Let's see, from Vitali, just thank you for your lessons. Have a good stream. You're welcome. We will. Actually, we're going to be starting on Brent's channel in 5 minutes or so.
Maybe that's my cue to get set up.
Yeah, I can quarterback this until we're done. Do you say that? I keep asking Brent if he says the same things as me.
Quarterback that?
I'm going to quarterback this.
No, I don't think we do.
But you're American.
I know.
Football's like the game. So-
Football's weird though. You hardly ever use your foot.
That's true. That's true. Okay, Raphael. Hello, teachers. Could you give me, let me move the questions over here. Could you give me some advice with verb phrases? Is it normal to feel overwhelmed at first? Well, first of all, yes, it's absolutely normal to feel overwhelmed. Brent and I were talking yesterday about how before we started teaching English, we didn't even realize phrasal verbs were a thing. Like we knew all of them because we speak English, but we didn't realize A, that they're a whole category, and B, how confusing they are. Like we were talking about, what was the verb before the lesson started? Put. We were talking about put, like to put off, to put on, to when you're put out. Like we were talking about how confusing that must be. So yes, you will feel overwhelmed. And then the advice I would give you is just to learn them and use them. So learn them in a way where you can visualize what it means. I think that would be my response. From Yuri, hello, what is last night? What time do these words refer to, evening or night? So when I say last night, like I would say Brent and I started live streaming early yesterday evening, and we finished up late last night. Well, it wasn't really late. We'll just say last night. I think for me, it has to do a bit with darkness. Like if it's starting to get dark, I would probably use evening. Oh, but let me see. When I'm talking in the past tense, I think I almost always use last night. Like last night we did 2 live streams. This evening, I'm going to go to bed on time. Yeah, it's a little fluid. It's a little fluid, isn't it?
Evening might be a little bit more formal.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little more formal. By the way, you can't go wrong just using last night to refer to anything that happened the day before, like after 6 o'clock or 6 p.m. You're going to be fine. People will know what you're talking about. Let's see here from Melissa. I saw you yesterday in the morning in front of Niagara Falls. I'm Mexican and I watch your videos. I couldn't greet you because I was on the walk with the guide. Well, sorry we didn't see you. We would have chatted. We would have probably made a little video with you if you were able to do that or wanted to. So Melissa, I hope you had a good time. Thanks for visiting Niagara Falls. Next time we'll wave if we see someone far away waving at us. So very cool. You heard that, right?
I did.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity, we would say in English. Ahmed, I'm going to flip the words. How can I learn English from books? And when I find vocabulary is so hard, and how can I memorize it? I'm a big proponent. It's a big word, but I'm in favor of reading books that are just a little bit harder than what you can understand. And this might mean you need to start reading children's books or kids' books or young adult fiction, which is books written for teenagers. And there's no shame in that. Like, there's nothing wrong if you're 30 years old with reading a bunch of kids' books to start learning things. I like it when I read a book in French where I have to look a word up, you know, maybe 1 or 2 per page is enough. So you kind of have to find books at your level. Let's see here. Hey, Dave, can you find the link to Brent's live stream and spam it in the chat? Dave's the only one who has permission to spam the chat. If Dave's still here, if not, I will find it. Let's see here. Oh, Dave's got it. Here's the link to Brent's live stream. I'm not sure if he's live, but he's close though. Yeah, I think you should. Okay. By the way, if you didn't have your question answered, I have 6 left in the queue. Just jump over to Brent's channel. We'll see if we can get to it. I'll try to answer a couple more. Hung says, good evening, teachers Bob and Brent. I'm wondering if both of you will visit Vietnam in the future. Hope you guys will visit. Brent probably will before me. Brent has more travel plans than I do.
Everyone, we are live.
Okay,
here.
let's see here.
Me, you see the iconic
I'm going to say hi on Brent's live.
Bob, the Canadians River right there. And he will be joining us.
Okay, we're going to end this one. If you see the link that Dave has put in the chat, you can jump over to Brent's channel and we will continue there. Thanks for watching. This was fun. I'm glad it's not starting to rain like it was last night. So bye everybody. I'm going to